Hello, friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And Midge, some might say that this is the most wonderful time of the year. It's the time that the Halloween hunting begins.
It sure is. I would have to say, if you're anywhere where it's hot, it's not the best time of the year.
No. But I mean,
But
it's a good
the
time to be inside a air-conditioned
I
store.
was gonna say, but we are being offered relief and compensation in the form of very early Halloween decor this year.
Yes, it's letting us imagine what a cool October day might feel like, and that
Yes,
is very
exactly.
important in these trying times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are a ghoul who's been listening for a while, you know that every year we love to just sit down and chat and talk about some of the things that we're seeing in Halloween decor, the trends, what's showing up so far, what we're still hoping to see. And that is this very episode that you have in your ear holes today.
Not in your holes.
Right? Just straight to your holes.
Just right there.
I mean, I don't know about you, Midge, but I feel like we need to start by talking about the thing that everyone is talking about.
Is it the Michaels
Yeah, which is the Hallowed Hippie
the
collection
Hallow
at
Hippie
Michael.
collection? Well, yeah, first things first, we need to discuss the fact that Mr. Michael owes me financial compensation because I literally shared like a week or two ago a clip from a video of mine from 2 years ago where I described this exact line
Yes.
in my Halloween predictions. They were a little slow on the uptake, but we got there.
Truly, I was looking at it and I was like, huh, remember when Midge was like, oh, we're really going to have this nostalgia. It's a
Like
very
orange and pink.
It's very 70s, but also very the way that the 90s reinterpreted the 70s. So like it feels
Mhm.
very 90s as well. Um, so this line, if you haven't seen it, I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have. But it is like a groovy Halloween line. It's
Ooh.
pink and orange. It looks very lesbian all on
Yeah,
the
it's the
shelves.
lesbian pride flag. It
Love
also
that.
is giving me, like, Lizzie McGuire vibes,
Yes, very much.
which I'm not mad at.
Yeah, like, I'm seeing a lot of, like, the home decor that I feel like is really popular, like, that I see in, like, Home Goods and on TikTok with, like, the checkerboard patterns, kind of these, like,
Mhm.
groovy flowers, you're definitely seeing represented here. I like as a whole, this line doesn't necessarily speak to like my style.
I agree.
There are individual like pink items that I'm like, ooh, I might need to pick that up. But
Mhm,
I
mhm.
definitely like I see the person that this is for, and I feel like it's probably gonna be popular. It feels pretty on trend to me.
It's been very, dividing online,
Yes,
like,
very
people have
polarizing.
either been very excited or, like I saw was it Sammatary? Somebody did, like, a video that was like, "Come look at the ugliest Halloween decor I've ever seen with
Yes.
me." Which, like, to each their own. If you hate it, you hate it. If you love it, you love it. I live somewhere in the neighborhood of what you just said. I There are pieces I want for my studio, not for
Mhm.
Halloween.
Yeah.
In particular, those, like, little coffin shelves with the floral print
Yes,
backgrounds
those
are
are
very
cute.
speaking to me right now as just, like, things I want in my home.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think it's hard when you are a person who makes things the way you and I can both
Yes.
be very, like, very creative and very crafty, like, and as somebody who literally visualized this line in my head 2 years ago, this is not what it looked like.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I like where their head was at, but I think it could have been done a lot better.
right, and I know that this has this has been a theme of previous versions of this episode that we've done, and I'm sorry,
Is it
Michael,
Midge
but
being haters?
being haters and specifically, I'm like, if you describe the concept of this line to me, I would be like, "That sounds amazing."
Right, I'm like,
But
I could have come up with
because it's
better.
Michael, he did kind of a half-assed job at a lot of it, and also, there's still freaking skeletons in bathtubs, which I
I
I
saw that there's a bathtub in this line. I was like, why
And
do we keep
why are
doing
we doing
this?
this? Like, I don't
Someone has
I
to be
don't
buying the
understand
bathtub skeletons.
the bathtub or the toilet skeletons in general, but, like, I'll accept that someone is buying these, but I'm like, "Why did you put this in your hippie line? There's nothing hippie about this."
If we know one thing about hippies, it's that they didn't bathe. So
Right?
why are you
Mm-mm.
putting bathtubs?
Yeah, yeah, so I this really
Uh,
it makes me wish for, like, a boutique version of
right.
this concept.
I've said it 100 times. I will say it 100 more times before it actually happens. Joanne, Michael, someone, call an actual person. Like,
Yeah.
call me, call Penny, call literally anybody that does this full time and like let us design this for you in a way
Right?
that actually looks good.
Yeah.
Like Penny and I were the people you needed on this particular
Right?
line.
It was like, we could have helped. We could have
Yeah.
helped you.
It's like
Uh,
where Joanne was it last year or 2 years ago? They walked right up to the line when they hired Johnny Yannick to do those
yes.
fabrics, and then they did nothing with the designs outside of that. And I was like,
Right? What are you doing?
"Okay, thanks so much. I hope you're hungry for
Burn
nothing." That's what I keep getting from these like mid-century
Yeah,
groovy lines.
designs, yeah. Yep,
Even
I
at
would
home,
agree.
like 5 years ago, did that Cool Cats line, and they tried so hard. They didn't actually. They didn't try at all.
They did not.
But they had the thought right there in their hands and they
Yep,
squandered it.
yep.
It's up to us, Penny. We have to do the mid-century Halloween line.
We gotta do the mid-century Halloween
We'll
line.
start with your wonderful friend making Ouija board coffee table.
Yes.
Planchette coffee tables.
Planchette coffee tables for everyone. Ah, that's the real stuff. Well, is there so I brought up a first topic. Is there something else that you're dying to talk about first?
I mean, just while we're in the vein of, I'll continue on of something else I've seen coming from Michaels
Yeah.
this year since we're here. It does look like they're leaning again into that kind of historic line is all I
Mhm.
can think to call it. I'm seeing more tombstones of like famous writers. There's some like Frankenstein homages.
Hmm.
I did see a Bella Lugosi bust that I'm actually kind of
Oh.
excited about. It's
Ooh,
well done, and I have literally zero idea how they got rights to do that because it's definitely Bella Lugosi. Like,
yeah.
it's not just like generic Dracula.
Dracula,
Like,
yeah.
it is full blown Universal Bella, but I'm very excited about that. Possibly, I mean, you and I both I think are kind of like I love anything that's good and like literature related.
Yes.
There are of course things in this line that absolutely stink. But there looks like, as any good Michaels line, it looks like
Yeah.
there's 3 or 4
A
really
couple of
solid
gems.
pieces that I'm interested in. Um, there's also just kind of this like ghostly Victorian thing happening. Like they've got like a veiled bust that's kind of cool. There's like a mirror that has like a lady's face in it. So that one I've only seen like a handful of pictures online. I haven't seen it shown. You know, like
Yeah.
the hippie hollow, we're seeing like actual stocked shelves photos
Yes.
online. The other ones I have not seen full scopes of the
Mhm.
line yet, but I'm intrigued. I will say I'm already a little I'm already a little pissed because they have a Victor Frankenstein tombstone, but it has Frankenstein's monster as like the
Oh,
photo
guys.
on the tombstone. So I was kind of like, okay, all right,
Alright.
whatever.
Step it up, Michael.
Yeah. Again, call literally anyone,
Yep.
please.
Well, so I have seen a little bit of Joanne,
Hmm.
setting some stuff out. It feels like a lot of the same pieces that we saw last year so far that I've seen, a lot of that kind of like
Hmm.
celestial witchy line. I
Hmm.
did see, and I don't remember if this was part of the line last year. I glimpsed like a really interesting looking like Ouija board platter,
Platter.
and I was
Penny,
like,
it's in my notes. It's the
"Ah,
only thing
girl,
that I've
yes."
it is I think it is new. I've never seen it before.
Okay, all right. I was like, "Did I just miss this? Because this looks rad, and I want this."
No, I literally knew you would bring that. Yes, that is also a piece I'm interested in. But as a I hope y'all came today with your hater pants on because as a rule right now with Joanne, I'm bored.
Yeah,
This looks literally like an exact cut
it
and paste of the
looks
which line they've
exactly like
had for
last
the
year.
last
Yeah,
3 years. Yeah.
yeah.
They've just been building it's that like, because it started as like a moon line like 2 or
Mhm.
3 years ago, and they've just kind of built it out. But yeah, I'm also not a purple person very much, so
Yeah,
this is very heavily purple and blue, so that it's also just not I'm not the target audience.
yeah. Yeah,
But
I like some of it, but a lot of it, like you said, I mean, it's repeat a lot of the times, and it's also, like, not repeat of, like, the goods, like,
right.
it's not repeat of, like, "Oh, this is the piece that everyone wanted and I couldn't get my hands on, thank god it's back." I'm like, "You
This is the
made, like,
clearance from last year
I'm
you
like, "You
just
made
brought back out.
100 more of these, like, black metal candlestick holders."
Candlesticks
I'm
with the
like
moon phases. Ah!
I'm like,
Yeah,
"I'm pretty sure everybody who wanted those got them, Joanne."
you're you get me. You really I was
We
literally I'm sitting here picturing the candlesticks and you brought them to the table.
we're on the
Uh,
same wavelength on these things also often.
uh, so often the same radio wave.
Yeah, I haven't seen anyone sharing new fabric from Joanne,
I
Halloween
haven't
fabric yet. Have
either
you seen
yet.
anything? Yeah,
Mm-mm,
because like
no.
you said, that was, like, one of the like, real highlights of
Yes.
Joanne in recent years was that collab, and so I've been hoping that we'll see more.
Yeah, and I mean, that's always fun for us because 'cause we're both seamstresses. I know,
Yes.
like, some people may not care about the fabric, but that's usually my favorite part of Joanne.
Right, yep.
I'm hoping you got a fabric last year that I'm still, like, bummed out about.
Yes.
Like, bat kind of, like, lace one. I
Mhm.
never saw it at my Joanne, so I'm crossing my fingers that they bring that back this year.
I know, I hope so, because it got bought up so fast. Because I know I had bought my yardage of it, and, a friend bought some too, and then she was like, "Ooh, actually, I should get more," and it was
It was
nowhere,
already
and you
gone. Yeah.
couldn't even find it on like, people reselling it on Etsy and stuff.
Yeah.
It went real fast, so hopefully they bring us back some fun things, for Halloween making.
Yes.
And I know that At Home has been kind of like the real vanguard of putting stuff out, like, first.
Yes. Yes.
So
I,
I have not been to my At Home, but I have watched a few, videos. This is probably the lamest thing that you can be excited about, but I'm like, "Oh, there are some good doormats this year."
hey, I've bought a doormat from At Home almost every year. I love a doormat.
Right, and they're good, and I mean, not to continue to be a hater, but At Home is another one where I'm like, oh, so close a lot of the time where,
Yes.
like, there's a couple things that I really like, but then, like, as a whole, there's a lot of things that I'm like, "This doesn't quite hit the mark," but the doormats are usually, like, on point, so good
Yeah.
job with the doormats At Home.
Well, and they're also I like that they're making doormats that are actually, like, made to go outside.
Yes.
Because a lot of places have kind of, like, non-functional, but, like,
Yeah,
cute
like, their
doormats.
seasonal doormats
Yeah, and I'm
are
like,
not
"This is"
hardy enough.
no, I'm like, "This is the Midwest, baby. We get rain,
Yup.
snow, sleet, hail. You gotta be sturdy." Um Yeah, that's some cute there's a I wish I know that I have forgotten to snap a screenshot of it when I saw it. But there's some kind of like I think it's one of the lines is called like something akin to Southern Gothic.
Mm,
Um, and there's some pieces in there that I'm interested in. Again, it's not the full line for me,
yes.
but there is very specifically I sent Andrew and Devin the other day a picture of a pillow. Um oh yeah, I found the picture of the pillow and I it does have the Southern Gothic is the name of the line. Um but it's like a kind of a longer pillow that has all these bird cages like hanging down it and
Mm.
like oh, what do they call the like the hanging moss, the Spanish moss.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
was like Charleston. What? Yeah, and that's it's like all the bird cages have like ravens and stuff. It's
Ooh,
very cool looking.
yeah.
And that's just a piece I would use like on my couch as
Yeah,
decor
totally,
in
that's a
life.
year-round.
Uh-huh. So it looks like that line has a lot of like black and cream and then kind of a sagey green, which is,
Hmm.
as you know, kind of where my living room is headed right
Yes,
now.
definitely.
So I'm excited with the prospect of that line that maybe there's just some year-round decor pieces in there for me. Um, but a lot of it does kind of look like that. What was it? The like ghoulish gathering or something that they had last year that was kind of a haunted mansion vibe. A lot of it
Uh-huh.
looks like that with a new color scheme. Because it was like red and black last year. Now it's like green and black.
Green and black. Oh no, I forgot to talk about the most important thing at Joanne,
Uh oh.
which is these crazy sewing machines made of bones. What is that about?
So I saw this in person last
Oh
year,
my god.
like
I
right
hate
at the end of the season too. They like they like held it back for a grand reveal. I don't know.
We're like, wait, we've got something for you.
Yeah, they're horrifying.
They're so scary.
So
And it's like a foot. And I'm like,
it's a
why
foot
is it a foot?
because it's your presser foot. It's
I did see like they also have one that's like an antique sewing machine with like skeleton hands on it. And I'm like, that's
that's
something.
kind of cool.
That's
Okay,
cool. Like that's what I as a spooky sewist might
want in
want.
my
I don't
studio,
want a
yeah.
sewing machine that's a
No.
horrifying skull and foot looking at me.
And like lights up red eyes and yeah, every time I find myself looking at some of these really specific pieces and being like, "Who was this made for?"
Right.
And I'm genuinely asking. I'm not like being rude or sarcastic. Like if you are a person who saw that and were like, "I need this." Talk to me. Well, what are you doing with it? I want to know. Like, do you have a sewing themed haunt that you do
Right.
where you were
Maybe.
desperate for a bone machine? I
I gotta have
just
my bone machine.
I have so much confusion.
Yeah. It raises a lot of questions.
Yeah, that was a wild card for sure.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And so, okay, so honestly, with some of these things, I'm like, is and maybe I'm giving the Michaels and the Joannes of the world too much credit, but I'm like, is this clickbait?
Is this a
Like
meme? Yeah.
is this like is this viral bait? Like are you trying to get people to post about it? Because like the Halloween hippie and like the foot sewing machine were the things that I saw immediately everywhere. And I'm
Sure.
like, was this your plan to be like, let's make something over the top and everyone will talk about it? But I don't think that like big stores think that way. Maybe I'm
I would
wrong.
say that they wouldn't, except for two things. One, the 12-foot skeleton,
Yeah.
because I think that became uh the like blueprint for
Yes.
what stores were trying to do. And many of them tried to replicate the 12-foot skeleton by putting out their own 10, 8, 12,
Mhm.
11-foot skeletons.
Yes.
Um, but they never had the viral marketing that Home Depot did
Yeah.
until saw Lewis.
Lewis.
And now I think because Target, I don't know if you saw this, like has been bringing Lewis back in like animation this year.
Oh, I
They've
haven't
been
seen
yeah,
that.
they've put out like multiple reels. They're building Lewis lore,
Oh my
which
god.
I think is hilarious and honestly really smart. I'm kind
Yeah.
of surprised to see a corporation doing that at all. Um so if it weren't for Lewis, I would agree with you, but I think big box stores are catching on to needing that aspect of viral marketing
Mhm.
to be seen in this like sea of decor hunting resellers, like all this wild shit that's been happening the last couple of years. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I think that's a very distinct possibility. I hadn't thought that, but I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah. Maybe so. This is once again conspiracy theories with Penny.
Well, sounds like you didn't know you were coming to Penny and Midge's marketing class today.
Yes,
I'm like,
right.
well, let me tell you, when we saw Lewis in
He really
2023, it changed
truly
the
though.
landscape forever. Mm,
Truly Lewis is a trendsetter.
yeah, happy Pride Month to him.
Right. Well, speaking of animatronics, there are
Yeah.
definitely lots of interesting animatronics coming out this year, and
Yes.
I am not a girly who owns animatronics. I don't really have like outdoor space for it, and I do not want them in my home. Um, but I am very intrigued to see them, and I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of them, a lot especially of the like pop culture like branded ones are getting like really good.
Yeah, I know we're going to the same place. I'm
Mhm.
very excited to see Victor and Emily this year.
Yes! They look so
They
good.
look really good, which is saying I mean, I feel like when we've gotten Jack and Sally and stuff in the past, they've looked really, like, haunted and not very
Mhm.
good, so,
Yeah.
I was skeptical when I saw their names on the, like, Spirit preview, but yeah, they look great. They look really, really good.
Yeah, they look great, and then I also saw, Lowe's has, like, Wednesday, which
Oh, I did see that.
looks
Mhm.
weirdly good, but I'm also, like I feel like it would be weird to just have an animatronic of, like, a regular person.
Person,
I
I
don't know.
yeah.
Like,
No, I feel
it
that.
seemed I get and I'm also okay, maybe this is just me. I guess maybe I'm not understanding. I guess I didn't realize that, like, Wednesday was, like, that huge of a smash, that they were
Oh.
like, "We gotta make a Jenna Ortega animatronic."
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I think it was pretty hype.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm intrigued by that. I also was it Lowe's? I think it was Lowe's did that again, it's not for me, I was just intrigued by it, that underwater line.
Oh,
Did you see
yeah.
that?
I
There
feel
was
a little
this
bit of that.
really freaking cool, like, groundbreaker octopus that,
Mm.
like, the tentacles, like, kinda light up, and that was cool. It's like, again, I'm not really a maritime horror,
Yeah.
kinda ghoul, but it was something unique, and I like seeing a more not I mean, obviously, that's not generic, but, like, a non-character
Yeah, yeah,
based set of things. So they had like a really creepy like sea captain and there was like the octopus and some creepy fish. Like it was a cool setup and it was something different. So I was
yeah.
interested in that. And then I think it was Home Depot also, which this is something Devin has been talking about for years. He's like, what happened to animatronics that were just like Frankenstein, like just
Yeah.
like monster, mummy? And Home Depot's bringing a bit of that back this year. We do have just like a Frankenstein's monster that looks pretty darn good, in my opinion. Um, and I'm excited to just see some like more general Halloween that is not like horrifying clowns.
Yes.
And
Oh my god, so many freaking clowns.
which I know like that's Spirit's MO.
Yes.
I can respect it. But it's fun to see some just like monsters.
Yeah, I did like I think this one I think I just saw this on allhallowsgeek.com. But
Ooh.
the, like, 50s housewife animatronic, have you seen this? I
What?
think it's, like, the Spirit
No.
Halloween. She's, like, a housewife with a knife, and her face is carved like a jack-o'-lantern.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at it right
Yeah.
now.
She's
What?
pretty cool, and I'm like, I would not necessarily want this I don't want an animatronic, but I love this concept, and I kinda wanna, like, do a costume inspired by this animatronic because she's
Yeah.
cool.
No, that's fun, that's different. Shirley Stab is her
Yeah.
It kinda reminds me of, have you seen, I've shared their art several times. I think it's Perkins Art, did this housewife character, and they're like it's a 50s housewife body, but the face is like the head is a house,
Oh,
and
I
she's
think I
like
have
really
seen that, yeah.
creepy. Yeah, that's kind of what that's giving me that vibe, and I've wanted to cosplay as housewife for a long time. So you
Yes.
do Shirley Stab, and I'll do the
Yes.
housewife, and we'll take on the cons next year.
I love it. Oh gosh. So I did try and look and see what we know from Bath and Body Works, and
Oh
it doesn't
yeah,
look like they've posted a lot yet, but I am intrigued. I saw their nightlight,
the
this like
hearse.
spooky hearse, and I'm like, this
Yeah,
is kind of rad.
That's the one thing I thought was cool. I will say I wish they had, like, a brass option because it's
Yeah.
silver, and I'm
Uh,
never a silver girl.
yeah.
But that yeah, that's cool. I mean, they did that, what, like, kinda funeral carriage last year,
Mhm.
so I feel like we're in the, like, death transportation era of,
Transportation theme.
can wallflowers. But yeah, no, that's cool. So, yeah, I will say when I was first seeing previews for this, I hated it. Because it just looked really, like, cheap to me and
Yeah.
tacky, but then I saw someone post, like, photos of the candle, designs, I guess, the jar designs next to, like, the old Halloween Lisa Frank stuff, and I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, okay." Again, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna give Bath& and Body that kind of credit,
Right.
but if this is where they were going, that is kind of fun and cute and nostalgic. And again, though, they posted something yesterday, and it was like a teaser image
Uh-huh.
that for that collection, and it was like a haunted house, but then there were disco balls, and I was like, "What is this thing this year with, like, disco Halloween?"
Right?
And again, I mean, I love the thought there.
Right, but, like, what made you all decide that now is the time for it?
Yeah, and again, I mean, we always, you know, art imitates life.
It's
We always
true.
see these things kind of I think it hits Halloween decor later, and if we think about, like, Beyoncé's Renaissance, Lizzo's latest album, like, a lot of music has been very disco inspired the last couple of
Mhm.
Yola.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like there's been a lot of very heavy disco influence coming back in. So I'm not surprised to see it, but I'm also like, was this what was this what the people were clamoring for?
Yeah, I would say, like, I see what trend
I
they
see
are
what you
looking
thought you were
for,
doing.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, what were the decision processes to be like, "This is the best way to interpret this
Yeah.
trend?"
And you know what? I will say I would hate to be the person who's designing these things for the
Oh,
masses
yeah.
because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
never ever going to make everybody happy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are thinking this stuff's very exciting and cool, and that's
Yes.
amazing. Penny and I are just jaded because we've been in the game a long
Right,
time.
it's true. I was gonna say, like, I'm like, alright, like, for most people who are like, "I'm gonna show up in stores and
For
be
the
like,
casual Halloween
here's a
enjoyer,
casual Halloween browse. Oh, look, a flocked pumpkin. I've never seen that
how
before."
fun. Yeah. One new thing I did see come through for Bath and Body though
Ooh,
that I was like, huh, kind of a cool different idea. They have introduced like laundry detergent in the
I
Halloween
saw
sense.
that.
Yeah, so that's intriguing. I've now discovered a new way to annoy my husband.
You gotta have that Halloween
You
scented
gotta
laundry
have that
detergent.
vampire blood laundry scent.
It really is making your signature scent just throughout. You got your hand sanitizer, you got your candle, your soap, and now your laundry
Yeah,
detergent.
your shower
Shower
gels.
gel, you got it all. Just smelling like blood up in here.
The other thing I feel like I've seen kind of quote going viral is this ghost hologram mirror from
Mm.
Pottery Barn. Have you
Oh,
seen this?
yes, I have seen this.
Which it's freaking $400, which is absolutely ridiculous. Um, but I have been seeing I will say it's cool in the sense that, like, it is a real functional mirror that then, like, "Whoa, a ghost."
Whoa.
And I like that it's, like, a fun little sheet ghost, it's not, like, a horrifying face that pops
Yeah.
up, which I feel like most iterations we see of this is, like, a scary old
Mhm.
woman. So it's, like, cute and fun, um, but I am seeing a lot of people doing this themselves, like, they've
Ooh,
found
DIY
ways
style,
to
yeah.
make this, and that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I'm so sorry to this man, to Pottery Barn, I am not paying $400 for a ghost
Yeah,
mirror,
for a
but
ghost mirror.
the concept's kind of fun. Uh, I don't know
Yeah,
about
I
that.
feel like I haven't seen, I mean, maybe I'm looking in the wrong places. I haven't seen a whole lot from some of our more like Pottery Barn or West Elm type stuff don't really seem to have their
Yeah.
Halloween out yet, which is too bad because those are often places that I'm like most intrigued by. And I haven't seen anything. I mean, I hadn't seen Lewis, so I didn't know Target was already up and about.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say they've, come out swinging by any
Yeah.
means, but they're thinking about it, which, I mean, they're always kind of a late bloomer anyway. I feel like
Oh
we see
yeah,
them
for
later in the
sure.
season. I did see, too, a little bit of a Grandin Road preview,
Yes.
and again,
Speaking of 400 fucking dollars.
I was like, speaking of unobtainable decor, um, they've got some very beautiful, like, tombstones this year, though. That's the
Mhm.
thing that I was most like, "Ooh," but
Yeah, I
again,
was
yeah.
I was definitely tempted by they have, like, the winged lady, like, grave
Yes,
statue.
she's
I
so
really like
beautiful.
that, but,
They
uh
also have a new Headless Horseman thing this
oh,
year that
yes.
isn't the $3,000 standing Headless Horseman. They have, like, a backlit silhouette sign type thing for outside, which is kinda cool. Um Oh, that's what I meant to talk about when we were talking animatronics. We finally got, like, a Headless Horseman adjacent animatronic back at Home Depot. It's
Oh.
not him.
Mhm,
It's called, like, the Dark Rider or something, but
mhm.
it's a horse and a rider, but what I was intrigued by is that he's holding, like, his skull
Uh-huh.
instead of a pumpkin. So I was like, if you were gonna do a Burton specific display
Mhm.
of Sleepy Hollow, this would be the way to go
Yeah.
because he's got the skull. And I was like, man, you could, like, you would have to pull a Wicked Makers on it and redo
Yeah.
it, obviously. But I was like, man, you could get the like sculpt on that skull and get Christopher Walken's teeth on there
Yes. Oh,
and
that'd
like
be
do
rad.
Wicked Makers.
Right, I was
This is
gonna say,
me.
Wicked Makers, please do this,
We're calling upon you now to please give us the Christopher Walken remake of this Headless Horseman animatronic. And then my
please.
P.O. box is then send him my way.
Send them
Uh,
on over.
maybe that'll be our collab. It's like Midge Munster commissions Wicked Makers to
Yes.
redo. I feel like I had one other thing that I wanted to bring to the
Mhm.
table. What was she?
What was she?
Do you have anything else while I'm recalibrating my brain?
I just had, like, general, like, the overarching trends that I'm seeing. I did not have
Okay.
a specific place that I wanted to talk about.
Well, apparently neither do I.
Yeah.
Oh, oh no, it's in this vein. It wasn't a place. It was the fact that I have to bring this to the table because I know people are gonna be like, Midge must not have seen this because she didn't bring it up. uh Michaels, I'm 99% sure, has also put up a headless horseman bust. They have
Oh,
like a headless bust that's holding a jack-o'-lantern.
alright.
Um, I want it to be better than it is, as a usual. Like, the pumpkin just looks kinda, like, a little goofy to me, but
Yeah.
I don't know, depending on whether or not they want $50 for it, I might buy it and, like, repaint it a little bit. Um, but it's definitely again, it's like Bath& and Body did that headless bust, what,
Yeah.
3 years ago now, and now and then Michaels literally did almost an exact copy of that bust last year, like, with a little tuxedo, and now everybody's trying to do Headless Horseman stuff.
Everybody's gotta be headless.
Again, I'll take my check at any time.
The
Midge
world's
is
foremost headless
single-handedly
horseman spokeswoman.
bringing back Sleepy Hollow and Disco Halloween.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so trend watch. Brr, brr, brr. We've talked about this a little bit throughout them, but obviously pink, green, and orange is huge.
Mhm.
This year, even in like some of like the footage from like Joanne, I'm seeing a lot of pink and a lot of orange and a lot of green in some of those accent colors, which is fun. I am a pink Halloween fan, so I'm
Yeah,
supportive of this.
we're We're pink Halloween apologists.
Yes. Flocking remains extremely popular.
It sure do. Yeah,
Lots of
flock
flock skeletons, flock
skeletons.
pumpkins, little flock bats, and some of it I'm into, some of it I don't. It's also just so hard because I don't know if presumably I go through flocked Halloween decorations like I'm picking out produce at the supermarket.
Yeah,
I
for,
have
like,
to
damage
inspect
on the
them all,
flocking.
and so many of the
Mhm.
flocking ones, they'll be, like, smushed in one place, they'll be rubbed in one
Scratched
place,
off,
scratched,
yeah.
and it just I get why it's trendy, but it's so hard for these kind of, like, big box stores to, like, have them in pristine condition, and that turns me off of buying them,
Yeah.
honestly.
Well, and, like and then too, just, like, from our s you're, like, yours the buyer standpoint, then you have to, like, be
Yep.
very cognizant of that
Mhm.
to store it as well. Yeah, little trickier than I would like.
Yeah, a little trickier. As we mentioned, bathroom, still a weird Halloween trend.
So, the only
Skeletons
thing I can
pooping, skeletons in bathtubs. Skeletons don't poop, they don't eat. What are you doing?
the only thing I can think is that there's an assumption being made that if someone were to really deck over one room in their house for a holiday, it's gonna be a room that's not, like, primary, like, people might really go all out in their bathroom
Yeah,
because it's not like, they don't have to, like, look at it in their living room or whatever.
no, that's very true, but I'm just like, if I were to fully deck out my bathroom in
It's not
Halloween,
gonna be
I'm not
pooping
decorating it in a
skeletons.
bathroom theme. Like, I've already got a toilet and a bathtub in here. I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, the skeleton should be in the bathtub too."
Listen, I didn't say it made sense. I said if I'm trying to think like these
Yes.
people who are making these decisions.
Very true. And I mean, maybe we're just haters. If you're listening out there and you love bathroom themed skeletons, let us know.
We've
Uh
actually lost 400 listeners over the
right,
course of this
everyone's
episode.
unsubscribing.
Uh-huh.
They're like, "Oh man, but pooping skeleton is my favorite." Uh and that is, I think, the next trend. Skulls, bones, skeletons
Yeah,
remain extremely popular
very
across
much
like
so.
all lines, which is fair because they're rad. But it's just interesting that that kind of remains one of the most popular motifs, I feel like.
Yeah, and I feel like skulls used to be like a goth thing, but not a
Mhm.
Halloween thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't think it was a thing we saw a lot in Halloween decor even like 5 years ago.
Right, and
Um,
especially, like, we're still very much in, like, the trend of just, like, skeletonized versions
of
of
things, yeah.
things, either other critters or, like we said, it's skeletons pooping, it's skeletons doing yoga. There was something I think is in the Halloween hippie line where it's, like, a mom skeleton and, like, a kid skeleton,
I
like,
did see
doing
that,
something,
yes.
and I'm like, "I don't know about this.
I don't know.
This isn't what I want in my life,"
I
but
saw this wackadoo. I think it's maybe a candle holder, but it's like if we're gonna make skeletons, let's at least try to focus on anatomy.
yes.
But it was like a candelabra that's like a skeleton just from like the pelvis to the head, and he's like shrugging, and then he's holding two skulls like on his hands. It was just bizarre looking,
Yeah.
and like I said, I think it's like a candelabra technically. Um, but yeah, just skeletons in every which way.
Right, and I don't know, I feel like I'm a big, like, skull and skeleton fan, but I'm pretty picky about what they look
I
like.
want it to like actually be dead.
Yeah.
Like, like that sounded bad.
I either want it to look very realistic or I
Yeah.
want it to be, like, specifically stylized in kind of that, like, elegant goth way, not in, like, the scary skeleton kinda way, so I feel
Yes.
like a lot of times skull related stuff just doesn't hit for me because I'm
I
like, "Well, this
agree.
looks goofy."
No, I totally right there with you.
And I will also say I'm seeing a lot of blow molds, which
Yeah,
makes me
yeah.
excited. I feel like every year we've continued to see new blow molds. I know I saw in like a home good in the no, it wasn't no, and I haven't seen anyone sharing home goods. Have you seen home goods putting Halloween stuff
Yeah,
out yet?
there's a little
Okay.
bit. It's like again a lot of repeats, like a lot of the
Yeah,
same busts of Frankenstein and
sure,
stuff.
sure.
I also my wild card in the bone sewing machine department
Mhm.
is I saw like a skeleton astronaut snow globe at Home Goods
What?
that was like the snow globe itself is a UFO, and he's,
What?
like, inside the little UFO in an astronaut suit.
I don't know what this is about.
So that was my, so far my wild card of the
So
year where I was like, "What on earth is that?"
well, it's not on Earth, Midge.
No,
It's in
yep,
space.
so true. I can't believe I got that
Ugh,
so wrong. You're
ugh.
right.
But yeah, what I was trying to say was at home,
Uh-huh.
I automatically continued and completed
At
Home
at
Goods.
Home Goods,
Home
yeah.
Goods, no, not at Home Goods. I saw at home has like some interesting like Halloween candle blow molds, which I'm
Oh.
into. Like it's like like Christmas candle blow molds are
Oh, is
very
that the one that has, like,
traditional.
the candy corn flame?
Maybe so I saw like there was one that was like a pile of skulls which into a
No.
candle, which whatever, I'm not into that. But there was one that was just like a black candle.
Oh, cool, okay,
And
I'm into
I
that.
thought that that was cool and kind of like you sort of, I mean, it's not like literally the same, but I feel like in the same vein of like being excited about like the octopus like animatronic. I feel like that's just something that is going to fit into a lot of different
Uh-huh.
things and that
Really
allows
usable.
you to create like your own kind of setup.
Well, and
So
it's
it's
like a
just one of
nice
those like nice kind of generic, not in a bad way, but in a it's good for a lot of people way.
well, yeah, and in, like, a not fast fashion is not what this is, but, like, a lot of these things are so theme specific, you
Yes,
buy them, and
yeah,
if you don't continue using all the theme stuff every
exactly.
year,
It's
then you're stuck
versatile.
or you
That's
have to
what I
get rid
wanted
of
to
it.
say. Yeah,
Yes,
it's
thank you, yeah, so,
versatile.
like, yeah, that's something that you can use across a wide array of themes, you'll use it over and over, so that's very cool.
Yeah, so I definitely wanna check out something like
And
that, and it looks like Joann's has some new and interesting little blow molds too, so hopefully I'll find a few to add to my little collection that
I
lives
also
up
feel
here in the
like
pod lounge with me when it's not Halloween.
Cracker Barrel, I feel like, has been killing it in the blow game mold
Yes.
the last couple
They
years, they've had some really
yes.
cute stuff.
I right before we recorded this, I watched a video, of people checking out Target Cracker Barrel. I don't know what any store is called anymore.
This is Penny's first time going to stores, she's never
Right?
been to one.
I've never experienced this before. Um, but yeah, they had some really interesting looking blow molds, and I'm kinda like, maybe this is the year that I get that Cracker Barrel ghost. 'Cause I have still been wanting one, and I never got one, and they unlike Joanne, who keeps bringing back their dumb candle holders, Cracker Barrel has brought back their much vaunted Spooky
Yeah.
Spectre in both white and black, so
Yeah. Well, I don't know if came somewhere around Christmas and saw someone
yeah,
using it in a really cool Christmas
pretty
display and
much.
were
I was
like,
gonna
"Man, I
say
should get that."
I've thought about getting one, but then I went to someone's home and I was like, "Wow, this actually looks really dope." So,
That too, like, just the general wraith type thing, I feel like has gotten very trendy
yes.
because of the Cracker Barrel ghost. Either at home I think it's at home, has like a kind of a groundbreaker type thing right now that's like a
Mm.
black just like the top half of a wraith, and it's kind of like pulling its hand out, like, up. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but,
Ooh.
it's
Yeah.
definitely the a la Cracker Barrel ghost.
Yeah, and I think this was also at the Cracker Barrel, but I saw one that I hadn't seen before that was like a version that's like a wall mounted,
Holding the
like
orb.
holding the orb. Yes.
Yes.
You gotta ponder the orb. So I'm
Well,
a
and
big fan of that.
I've seen several people taking the orb because the orb is detachable,
Mm.
and then, like, putting dried flowers and stuff
Oh,
in that, and that looks very freaking cool. Because
I like that.
I was kind of like, "Okay," like, the orb was fine, but then, yeah, some people have made it look very just, like like, sexy gothic with these, like,
Yeah.
dried flowers. It's very cool. So there's some potential there.
Nice. Yeah, well, I mean, we've already talked for a good while about
Yes,
the Halloween hunting. Yeah, I'm interested to see stuff in person. I have not seen anything in person yet. Usually
me
my
either.
area doesn't get Halloween as early as some of these folks, so I probably won't be seeing anything until later next month. But I am excited for it to come around again. And I mean, we say this every time. I feel like big box stores are a lot of fun for shopping and for inspiration, but of course, we love to shop from small businesses.
Yeah.
So always make sure that you are giving your support there when you can, especially when some stores like to steal
Steal
things
art.
that artists make, and we don't like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's been a very prominent problem. Like this
Hmm.
last year, especially, I feel like I've just seen so much art theft.
Yeah.
Um, and like unashamedly from these big
Oh yeah.
stores.
Hmm.
So be a smart consumer. Uh, do your best to search for things and do your research, but also have fun. Get some cool stuff. Decorate your home.
Yes. We're all here to have a spooky good time.
Except Penny and I, who are apparently here to be be
Benny and
haters.
Midge, who are here to diss on everything. Well, I hope you enjoyed drinking some Halloween haterade with us. And if you love or hate any of the things that we talked about today, or if there's something that you feel strongly about that we have not seen yet,
Mhm.
feel free to leave us a comment, drop us a message. We love to hear from you, and we also love to hear what you think about the podcast. So if you
Yeah.
can rate or review us wherever you listen, that really does help us out a lot. And I believe we have a review from the DMs that we can share today.
Yes, we have a review in our Instagram DMs from the Belladonna today that says, "Hi, ghouls, longtime fan, first time reviewer. Your podcast is the first I actually anticipate for every week and
Oh,
can't wait for wait for Tuesday to come around. This show delivers both witty banter while weaving storytelling magic on all things spooky and kooky. I always love a good reference or tale of, quote, those crazy Victorians and keeping the spooky Halloween spirit alive year round. I can't wait until next Tuesday. Jordan."
aw, thanks, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan.
All right. And if you want to send us a message like Jordan, you can find us on Instagram at Ghouls Night In Pod. And if you are looking for me, you can find me at Penny Snark.
And you can find me all over the web at Midge Munster.
And until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.